Hi there everyone, I'm Moby the Unpopular, YouTuber by day, VTuber by night. Today I'm talking about something I might be a little bit late for, but I feel it's an important discussion to have nonetheless because I didn't realize that this issue was as prevalent as it is. I think an adequate title statement for the issue at hand is people on the internet are ignorant. Yeah, I know it's nothing new, you probably knew about this already. I originally wanted to make the title Americans are ignorant, but I realized that that's a gross overgeneralization, and I think it kind of feeds into the problem that I'm discussing today, particularly a focus on ignorance. So for a little context, I should say that during one of my streams, a fellow South African VTuber named Lindy the Wyvern, thank you very much for putting me onto this issue, by the way, Lindy. Please go check out her content if you're looking for a chill stream or anything like that. So they pointed out the fact that South Africans were going into American streams, and when they would identify themselves as colored, they were getting banned from these streams. I won't lie, as messed up as that situation is, I thought it was an outlier case. I think that it's very ignorant of how the word colored is being used in other cultural and political contexts. But I also understand that American streamers might wanna, or just any streamers might wanna avoid any and all controversy, so they kind of avoid making use of that word since the word colored in America is a big no-no. So why is that? This is because in America, the term colored was used to define items and areas that were designated for black Americans during the Jim Crow era. The word has a deeper history than this, and at one point it was used as a term of endearment amongst black Americans. Unfortunately now, given this racially negative history, the term colored is now considered offensive as it is a slur. Obviously that word comes with a lot of historical baggage for Americans, and we can respect how they choose to define words and what meanings they take from those words. Cut to 4 days ago, as of the time of recording this video, and a colored South African woman called Missy on a Mission posts the following video to TikTok. For her use of the word colored, people in the comments came after her, particularly American people. And I can tell you that the ignorance of these people towards the term colored and how it's used in other cultural contexts amazes me. It would seem that, like some other South African commenters who would later go on to post under the video, some Americans really do think that they are the center of the world. According to some of these commenters, this word is offensive to black people, and we colored people in South Africa are not allowed to use that term. According to one person, this colored woman, who clearly has a South African flag in her bio, must be Hispanic, and therefore it's crazy that she's using the word colored. Now I imagine to many people, including South Africans, colored South Africans especially, this is a non-issue, and we should just chalk this thing up to common ignorance. Many of us in the world are aware that people are ignorant like this. But I think that this is an issue worth discussing, since in South Africa, colored identity is an important aspect of discussion for many people. And it's an already tenuous topic among South Africans, even among colored people themselves. The last thing we need is cultural and ethnic ignorance dictating what words we can and can't use. And since colored identity is such an important topic to South Africa that there are even university courses that focus on it, one course which I myself gave a lecture to on, I do feel like this is an important opportunity to rid ourselves of some of this ignorance. So what does the term colored mean in the South African context? A colored person is anyone who has descended from black and white parents or Malay and white parents. A lot of people assume that in Cape Town, for instance, that colored people are descended of black and white parents. Majority of the colored people in Cape Town are descended of Malay and white parents. Most people consider them to be biracial, but usually colored people have ancestral ties to numerous ethnic and cultural groups. That means that a colored person can look like this, or they can look like this. They are an ethnic group that encompasses a wide range of people with a wide range of cultural and religious beliefs. For a long time in South Africa, the term colored was also used in a negative sense. It was used by the apartheid government to divide those who weren't considered dark-skinned enough to be black from the black South Africans, but also to separate those who weren't considered light-skinned enough to be white from the white South Africans. Make no mistake, the term was definitely used to divide people. South African thinkers like Steve Biko, for instance, recognized the manner in which this word was used to divide South African groups and sought to rally people together for all those who were oppressed under apartheid to recognize that they only had one common enemy, and that wasn't each other. When the apartheid government was abolished, colored people held onto this term as a means of self-identity in response to a government that pushed for equality between all races. This need to hold on to such an identity was born out of the fear that the needs of colored people won't be seen to. There are also many people who rejected this term as a means of identity, recognizing that the term was forced on them by an oppressive regime. Then there are those who seek to tie the colored identity to the Khoisan, who are recognized as the actual first inhabitants of South Africa. Given this, I'm sure that anyone can tell that there are many debates going on between colored people and their use of the term colored as a means of identity. But the one thing that everyone recognizes is that colored identity exists as a social reality for many people, and that many now identify themselves as colored without necessarily linking it to its historical roots. Rather, they base this self-identity on the people who they grew up with and the cultural norms and values that they were surrounded by. For some South Africans, being colored or being able to identify as any particular race has an extremely important meaning, and that explains why many South Africans, including black South Africans and colored South Africans, came to support Mercy on a Mission when she expressed the frustration with being called out for using a term that's rather normal for South Africans to use. I actually feel bad for her because she had to explain the meaning of this term over and over again, and by the time South Africans came to support her on her post, most of the negative feedback had already been posted or deleted by that point. And I imagine that the ignorance must have taken its toll on her by then. I just have to say that it sucks that people are so ignorant of the way that this term is used, especially Americans, given the people that they are constantly exposed to. So let me show you some examples of people who would be considered colored. Drake, for instance, would be considered colored. Leslie Ann Brandt is one of the proudest colored people on American television right now. Trevor Noah is South African and he's definitely considered colored. And you can think about his comedy what you want, but I mean, you see him on TV all the time. So it's strange to me that there's this lack of awareness of how the term colored can be used in other contexts. This discussion is not meant to dictate how we're supposed to understand words or how we're meant to define words or what meanings we're meant to take away from them. This is just to put a little spotlight on a growing issue. Hopefully this video will help us understand that our own unique worldview is not the worldview. Because make no mistake, many South Africans are ignorant as well. I'm sure that if you go into my history, you'll see cases of me making the same mistakes. Sometimes we all have to learn hard lessons. For instance, at the moment, South Africans are learning that the electrical system was built on the foundation of brittle glass, and at the moment, the power company is trying to jump on that glass to see how quickly it breaks. All we can do is hope to keep learning, and I hope that this video contributes to some of that learning. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and comment and tell us what you think about the situation. Let's not be ignorant ourselves. Let's not try to divide any further. Let's actually try to have a proper discussion about how words are used and how they might be used in different contexts. And let's not try to keep pushing this idea that our own worldview is the view that everyone else should be taking. This is not my main channel, by the way. Please check us out on the Unpopular department. I'm going to keep posting videos like this on Moby the Unpopular where I discuss things that I feel are, worth discussing. It might always be topics that are as serious as this. It might be innocuous things that, most people might not be interested in. Anyway, thank you for watching. You guys keep being you and I will keep being my unpopular self. Bye.